Hey, good morning, everyone. Marty Missouri here. Monday, 19th of August, 2019, just a bit before market open this morning, and we are looking at yet another very strong rally in stocks. You're looking at the S&P 500 futures chart. It's live. You can see this morning's candle ticking along. That in Dow points got to be 350 or so. We opened right here this morning. So I've been walking you through this little bit sharp correction that we've had here in August, and have been making the case that it looked to me like this would be your snapback rally. Got right up here to the 61.8% retracement, and you can see we are butting up against that and resisting it each time. We actually have 5 failed attempts right here, and it looks like we're actually about to mount a 6th. Now, folks, I have to tell you this, the longer this goes on, the longer we move sideways, the less it looks like your typical, snapback rally and then lose lower lows. No, in fact, the more we come up and hit this resistance level, the weaker it becomes. So it could very well be that this morning's rally shoots right through there. You got to believe that the shorts who are concentrated in here are beginning to wonder if they're positioned correctly. As I sent out just a little bit ago in the written blog, we've had nothing really earth-shattering, just kind of a calming, it seems like, in the U.S.-China trade disputes. The U.S. has softened. The tariff hit that's to come in September and December. We just got confirmation from the Commerce Department this morning that Huawei is going to get yet another 90-day reprieve in terms of access to U.S. technology. Apple looks in pretty good shape because the president had dinner with Tim Cook on Friday, and sounds like maybe the president is going to change his mind in terms of putting tariffs on Apple products coming from China. And then the potential really big news this week will come later from the Jackson Hole, Wyoming symposium that the Fed has there every year. That has been a venue, for whatever reason in the past, for Fed chairs to announce stimulus measures or an increase in stimulus measures. Generally, if anything comes out of that, it tends to be bullish. So I think traders are positioning for something big there. What it would be, I think all it could be, is that a strong hint that a 50 basis point cut is coming in September. If we don't get something like that, well, then the market will likely sell off pretty hard that news, and then we would come down and probably penetrate these lows. The fact that we continue to move and push against this doesn't mean that we don't ultimately get there. It just means that this one could actually resolve higher and retest these highs before we actually do come down lower. Again, as you all know, my base case is bearish. In our indicators, we're seeing somewhat of an acceleration of weakness in some key areas. Financial markets components will improve and will improve our score if this sort of thing keeps up over the next week or so. But again, overall, we're seeing some deterioration under the surface that we don't like, and it looks kind of classic right here. What's also classic, as I've illustrated multiple times on the blog, is that indicator begins to show very concerning signs. And of course, the factors that make that happen are not invisible to the rest of the world, certainly not the policymakers. So that's when you get pretty aggressive stimulus. We saw it overnight in China. That's having a big impact on markets today. China's markets soared higher. Europe's having a very good morning this morning. I think, as I said in the written blog, that's a bleed through from China. Also, Jeremy Corbyn this morning is just pounding the table that there will be no hard Brexit. That's very bullish for European stocks, if indeed that's the case. And then, of course, that bleeds through to sentiment here in the U.S. So lots of things can happen. I think the brush is pretty dry. One spark could light up a pretty big fire under the market. But right now, again, technically, this is looking less like that snapback rally and then a quick move to lower lows and then having more discussions at lower lows. As we continue to butt up against that, this sign of resistance is probably weakening. And I think the shorts or the bears are feeling like they've been trapped in here. So you're getting some covering in the futures market. That bleeds through to here, and then you've got something more substantial and something that feels pretty good to the upside. Now, never forget, what this is also doing is sucking in the bulls big time. those folks come in here, they get those late coming bulls. If indeed things do begin to break down, remember the fundamentals don't look so good to me. This could be a classic bull trap where people get sucked in only to get beaten up, and then you get that wave of selling, and then you get something that comes down. And then we're addressing levels that I still think we ultimately will be addressing in the coming weeks and months if we don't get to a real resolution in the trade war and a departure from using tariffs as a weapon going forward. Doesn't look like that's what we're getting. Therefore, looking at how it's all affecting the fundamentals, you really can't get long-term bullish in here. I'm looking for an opportunity to, I'm happy to, but we pretty much know what the conditions are that would make us want to not hedge portfolios right here and expect to ride a bull market off into the horizons. That's just not in the cards right now under the circumstances, but rallies to new highs, absolutely. If I were a trader, I would be fading all of those rallies, although right in here, I might want to just step aside and let this play out because this could get ugly to the upside for the bears. The bulls could be very happy, although it could ultimately resolve as a big, ugly trap that got them all sucked in right before the big precipitous drop that would come. But along the way, folks, this is what we have to look forward to. Lots of ups and downs, sideways moves, and then some big breaks in either direction. And I'll keep showing up here often to help you put it all in perspective. Thank you, as always, for watching and listening. Talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye.